income individuals.
There we go.
Decided to work. So we have a home buyer education department that is coaching. We have the lending department, which I'm in charge of, and then we have building and renovation. So we basically have three big umbrellas that we all work underneath. So if you'll go to the next. I'm going to start with the home buyer education department. Do y'all know what financial coaching is? What's financial coaching, Pat? I'm sure you know.
It's where you teach people about how to manage their money as related, in your case, to homeownership.
Correct. So we feel like the basic of being a good steward of your finances is to be coached and you learn. Think about, how do you learn how to manage your money if nobody ever teaches you? You don't just come by that. And so the families that we're dealing with have not had a leader in a position where they can pass that information along. So we have a home buyer education department that will help teach people how to manage their money, set them up for success, and hopefully purchasing a house. We all have to have a roof over our head, be it rental or ownership. And we obviously feel like owning a home is a much better proposition because you control how much your house note's going to be. You don't have to live and worry about your landlord going up every month. And we all know taxes and insurance we can't account for, but you can at least set the precedent for what you can afford. We teach the people how to budget their money. We set them up for success, hopefully letting them know that they need to be prepared for emergencies, that the landlord's no longer going to be in charge of that. We work with people, and sometimes they're with us for 6 or 9 months before we get them to the point where they're ready to jump off. So many people call me every day and say, okay, I'm ready to buy a house. And I'm like, are you really? Do you even know what goes into buying a house? So we try to educate the people and set them up for success. So we have 3 HUD certified counselors. We even have one that's Hispanic now. So, and if you'll go to the next slide, please, Tim. We offer home buyer education classes, which is our jumping off point to learn everything you need to know about buying a house. We then bring the people in-house and give them individual counseling to build on what they learned. And then if you'll keep going for me.
Sorry.
Okay, so we have, just like I said, the home buyer education is in English and Spanish. We offer 3 classes a month in English. 2 are on a Saturday, 1's on a Tuesday and Thursday night. The Hispanic class is offered just once a month, and it's on a Monday and Wednesday. So if you can't make an in-person class, we also have online. So we don't want to miss anybody if they can't get there the times we're offering the classes. Next, please. This is the schedule of the classes that are coming up. So I'm sure you can't see that because I can't. I'm standing right next to it. But if you go to our website at uhinc.org or tell your family and friends, that's where they can locate the classes. Next, please. All right, and this is where I come into play in the lending department. So we offer 3 different lending opportunities. We have our first mortgage loan, which is called a charity mortgage. We only go up to $125,000 for our mortgage product. That's in order to keep it for the low to moderate income individuals. We also have caps on how much you can make. We are truly trying to service first-time home buyers and or people that just don't want to buy a huge house. They want to get what they can afford and be comfortable in. We also offer home repair loans. I have 2 different home repair loans at the present time. We have an in-house loan that's at a 1.5% interest rate, and it goes up to $15,000. I have a second one that we've acquired this year that's involved with the LIST program and some city money. It goes up to $25,000, and it's at a 3% interest rate. Both of those still have to fit in the low to moderate income for individuals. We also have down payment assistance to go with our cherry mortgage. So if and when they only have to have 1% of their own money to invest in the cherry mortgage. So it's a win-win for everybody. All right, next. This is a picture of a lady that bought her first home. She was a single mom. She was going through a divorce, and she had to have a roof to put over her head for her child. And she came to us and started with the home buyer education, and we grew her to the to get into her own house, and I think she paid like $99,000 for her house. As y'all know, the lower price houses have been harder and harder to come by. And it's mainly because of all the investors snapping them up before we can get to them. But we have a couple of, we work with a couple of other nonprofits that are literally building and renovating houses and keeping them in our price range. So we can put our buyers into a quality house when they get there. All right, next up. So this is more about our home repair loan program. The list 901, we're supposedly going to do 80 loans in the next 18 months. I've had a really hard time getting that program off the ground because generally by the time people get to United Housing, we're their last stop, and if we can't help them, they pretty much can't be helped. So they only have to have a 580 credit score. And some of these people, believe it or not, don't have a 580 credit score. What we've run into more recently, though, is that the houses are so damaged that the 15 or the 25,000 can't even make a livable again. I can't tell you how many people come to me with a broken main drain, and they froze during the storm, you know, like back in January and February. And unfortunately, these people don't have homeowners insurance, so that's a whole nother conversation that you have to have. Many people will pay their mortgage off and then don't continue the insurance because they don't know that they need it or they don't have the money. Usually they don't have the money because they're all on. The majority of the people we work with are on a very limited income, usually Social Security. So we've had a real blessing for the last 18 months. The city of Memphis gave us, no, it's the county, sorry, gave us almost $1 million in grant money to give to people. And it was up to $25,000. And we just ran out of that money about 2 weeks ago. So now I still have people that I get a phone call at least once a day that needs grant money because they know they can't qualify even for the 1.5% loan. So anytime grant money comes along, I'm a champion for getting it out the door. All right, next. Okay, so we do have, United Housing does own 6 houses that we use for rental property. And 4 of the 6 houses are designated for veterans. So we work with the VA on getting people into houses. This man, Mr. Tim, that rented this house from us was a homeless veteran. And he connected with Valerie in our housing department. And she was able to work with the VA. And the VA subsidizes his rent. So I don't remember how much his rent is, but the VA is paying like 75 or 80% of it. So that's a great benefit for our veterans. So if you know anybody that's a veteran that is in the low to moderate income category and needs housing, they're not often available, but when they are, they're a great deal for somebody. This one that he moved into, we completely renovated. So it was a brand spanking new situation for him to be in. Okay, keep going. We work with other nonprofits. Okay, this is talking about the Wolf River Bluff subdivision that we built out in Frazier. We not only renovate houses and put veterans in them, but we also had a brand new subdivision in Frazier that Tim Bolding, our original director who established United Housing, started Wolf River Bluffs, from what I understand, about 20 years ago. And then the debacle of like 08 and 09 happened and everything just stopped. And there were 13 lots that had been developed, but the houses had not been built. So 2 years ago, our director got the ball rolling again, and we were able to put 13 people into brand new houses in Frazier. It's a pretty neat subdivision out there. They have about 1,500 square feet of them. All right, next. Okay, during COVID, we had lots of assistance for people for light, gas, and water, for rental, for housing. We still can help people, we can counsel them, and there is still a little bit of money available for people that are behind on their mortgages and or behind on their rent. The rent program is closed right now because they're trying to finish out what we have in-house, but it will reopen in the next couple of months. The mortgage assistance is still available. If you know anybody that's behind on their mortgage, they supposedly have to tie it to COVID to really make it succinct and fit into all the boxes, but at this point in time, they are still working with people to help them save their houses. Or if you know anybody that is in financial difficulties and headed towards foreclosure, we love to try to talk to those people because they can save them if they can get them early enough usually. They're a conduit between the people and the mortgage company. All right, next. Okay, we have some partnerships. You know, a nonprofit is constantly looking for ways that we can give back and other people want to help us give back. I don't know if y'all are familiar with My Cup of Tea. It's a tea shop that's in Orange Mound and it's a nonprofit. And they opened this up in a dilapidated house and they have put ladies to work that were unemployable. And so they've taught them how to run a business. I mean, they do everything from growing the tea to making the tea. And they've got the cutest gift shop there. Every time I go in there, it costs me money. Something I just had to have, but it's a great operation, but they're one of our partners. And if you keep going, My Cup of Tea owned 4 lots right across the street from the tea shop. And United Housing is partnering with My Cup of Tea, and we're gonna build 4 houses on these lots. They're gonna be like little 0 lot lines. They're all gonna be on the same lot, but there's gonna be 4 individual houses. And our hope is to be able to put some of the ladies at My Cup of Tea into these houses. So the ladies at My Cup of Tea have been working for the last couple of months with our HUD counselors, trying to get their budgets in order so that when these houses are built, they haven't broken ground yet. When you're working with the city, it's just a nightmare to say the least. So if and when they get the houses built, first dibs are gonna go to the ladies at My Cup of Tea, which I think is really a neat concept. So if you'll keep going, there was one other partnership on there with Binghamton, and we built a house with the Binghamton Land Trust, and then we were able to put a Hispanic couple and their 3 children in that house. But they came through, you know, another partner. So United Housing has been in existence for 30 years. We're celebrating our 30-year anniversary this year. And we have educated 11,000 individuals in 30 years. That's a lot of people to come through the doors. The goal is, of course, to try to get as many of those into houses as we can. So that's always our challenge. We've helped 7,500 of those 11,000 become homeowners. We have financed $1.5 million worth of first and second mortgage lending. And I'm going to tell you that's an old number. I don't know how old it is, but we're closer to the 2 million mark now. Oh, it says 15 million. Sorry, I can't even read. But that's still, I'm thinking it's closer to 16 now. And we have built or renovated in the neighborhood of 350 homes in the last 30 years. So if you'll go one more screen for me. We have just merged with Convergence Memphis. And Convergence Memphis is an organization that National Mortgage Bankers instituted a couple of years ago to promote Black home ownership. And they came to Amy and wanted to know if she would consider partnering with them. So we have taken them under our wing. And our goal is to move all of our residential real estate under the Convergence umbrella, because we've hired a new person that's going to come in and they're going to do development for Convergence, but that will feed more money into United Housing. So it's going to be a win-win for both of us. And last but not least, we are moving. We have sold our office in Parkway Village. We are all working from home, which is most interesting. Okay. We are moving to 2509 Harvard, which is in Binghamton. We're in the process of renovating the building, and it's probably not going to be ready until about January. They found lead and asbestos in it, so it threw a little monkey wrench in getting started in a hurry. But people don't know where we are. The only problem is when we need to meet somebody to pick something up, I'm traversing all the libraries in the city. So don't let it keep, don't let anybody think we're not there to service them while we're in transition, because we're still meeting them wherever we have to. And last but not least, I'm going to put in a plug for our fundraiser. It's our annual fundraiser. It's Friday at the Brewery. It's in October. Lynn and Troy have been there, I know. It's our 30th anniversary, so it's going to be a big deal for us this year. And I'd love for y'all to join us, support us, whatever you would like to do. Does anybody have any questions? I gave you a lot of information.
I can't read the screen. What's the date?
It's October 24th.
Thank you.
And it's Friday. It's at the It's at Wiseacre Brewery on Broad.
5 to 9.
5 to 9.
5 to 9,
Can you
yes.
send that flyer to whoever?
I can,
And
it's,
then
yeah.
they can post
Tim,
it?
can you get that off of there? Off of my PowerPoint? If not, I can send it. I've got it. on
If
my-
you'll send it to me, I'll put it on the visitor box.
Okay, okay, that'll be perfect. Yes, ma'am.
And as you mentioned, it's harder and harder to find homes in the right price range. If I end up getting a listing that fits into that, can I call and let y'all know, hey, I've got a house here that would fit your
Absolutely.
criteria?
Absolutely, because occasionally I'll have people that are pre-qualified that can't find things.
Yeah, I had a great little house that did need some work, but the only things I got were from investors.
Yeah.
And I would have much rather it
I
had
know.
gone to a family.
We hate that because they're so few and far between in
Yeah.
that price range, so, and during COVID, it seems like the investors zapped up everything that
And they're still doing it.
Memphis is prime market for that. Yes, ma'am.
When Troy and I taught insurance at your, first time home buying class, we love to sit in and hear what you talk about improving your credit. I know your plate's full, but would you ever consider doing a financial credit class for renters? Because anything that a renter can do to improve their credit score is gonna help them eventually become a homeowner.
I'm sure Priscilla would, because she started doing, it's called Get Your House in Order. And she's going to different companies and offering this class at different companies for their employees. So that's similar to what you
Beautiful.
You still do what you were talking about is the classes that she was talking about, right? And I went to it before I bought my house,
did you?
and the information there is invaluable. It's not just it's for any first home. Home
Absolutely.
buyer. And-
Absolutely.
and I would recommend anybody take that course.
Yeah, thank you. We have so many people that, you have to do it normally to get down payment assistance. That's one of the boxes you have to check. You have to take a homeowner education class, and then you have to be counseled. And so many of the people will take it at the very last minute, like they're closing next week and they've now come to take the homeowner education class. And they always, or a lot of them will walk away and say, I wished I had done this on the front.
And that was me as well.
Mhm.
I got my loan through Joe, but it was, I wished I would have taken it earlier.
Yeah, you know, anybody you know that's looking, thinking, even renters that you may know that are thinking they might be ready and they might not. I mean, a lot of people come and they're not ready yet. I mean, they either don't have their money saved up, or they don't have their credit score right, or they don't have their debt to income ratio right. There's a lot of things that go into buying a house. It's not just you already turn the button and say, okay, I'm ready. Yes, ma'am.
So I have a relative who's going through a divorce, and she's living in the house. She's paying the mortgage right now, but at some point that's gonna stop. It's up for sale. She's convinced that she can't buy a house or have another house. Is there a course or a number, or what would be the best way to connect her with someone to see if there's something that can
I
be
can
done?
give you one of my cards and they can call me and I can put them in touch with the counselors, and they could they could bring her in and, you know, take a look at her financial
Yeah,
situation.
with everything going on,
Yeah,
you know, she's
Yeah.
challenged to believe that, you know, home ownership can happen for her.
absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so who and where and how do you connect with people? I know you've got the fundraising for the, that night at Whiteacre, but what other ways are you looking to connect with people for getting funding?
We connect with a lot of banks. A lot of banks will provide funding for us. Like there's 2 banks that provide the funding for the home repair loan. My executive director is constantly networking and, meeting with CEOs and chair people, but it's generally the banks that are backing us. Awesome. Troy?
Yeah, Trudie, the bank's cooperation, are they helping you folks out when you see people that, you know, are pretty needy by reducing the interest rate so that they have no for repairs, if they're in to make profits?
Well, no, I mean, we've set the interest rate at 1.5 because that's like as low as we can go and still, break even. So no, the banks don't set the rates. We set the rates, except for the list program. It's at 3. And, it's kind of hard to sell 3 versus 1.5, but they go to 25 and we only go to 15. So depending on your need, it's easier to sell. And our fixed rate on cherries is 5 right now, by the way.
Ms. Trudy?
I think my time is up.
No, actually, well, I wanted to ask you, someone on the, online said, do you affiliate yourself with any other, like, do you need donations for clothing or different things, or does that go elsewhere?
No, that would be elsewhere. Thank you, though.
What is considered low to moderate income for your repair loan for a family of 1 to 2?
Okay, you're gonna throw me under the bus here, Judge.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know for one, it's like 47.5. We go with the 80% AMI.
Oh, okay, that's all I need. 80% adjusted.
Adjusted middle.
I mean,
Adjusted.
average median.
Yeah. It's a national
Yeah.
number, and 1 is like 47.5. I want to say 2 is 55, 56,000. Yeah,
Household income.
some grant money that we just had was even lower than that, and it was, the people that I see, the majority of them don't make more than that.
Right, right.
It's very rare, unless sometimes if I have a couple, they're pushing it, but
I know I've tried to send some people to. Thank you.
I will take all referrals, because if, like I said at the beginning, if they get to us and we can't help them, they almost can't be helped. Yes, ma'am.
Do you help people stay in their homes as well?
That's part of what the counselors do.
Okay.
That's when I was talking about the foreclosure counseling, yes.
Right.
But if you know somebody, encourage them to call before it's too late.
Yeah.
Because, we get a lot of phone calls that, like, they're headed to the courthouse, so.
Yeah.
If you get that far,
Right.
there's not a lot anybody can do, but, yeah, if we can get them in there early enough, our counselors have a really success rate. Awesome. That's it.
Real quick.
They used to run the tax sales for the county, so how many times have you been able to help them with a lot of the tax sale?
We can't really help them pull out of a tax sale unless the counselors can help them, because we don't have the money to pay their taxes. So, I don't know that we help them out of tax sales, to be honest with you, since if they don't have the money, they probably would have paid it to begin with, so. I don't have an answer for that, but my guess is we probably can't help them.
And I got a quick question. If someone was to get in, and they got a house at a low rate or whatever, and they succeeded and did really good and started building up and able to get into where their finances were better, and then later on have a bunch of kids and needed to grow, that they start making money, is that house dedicated to give back somehow, or is it their house to resell
Oh,
later?
it's their house. It's a regular mortgage, just, yeah. Now, if they have down payment assistance, they would need to be there for 5 years, or they'd have to pay back part of the down payment assistance. But as far as the house and the mortgage, all the appreciation belongs to them. We would love to see somebody sell it to bond.